Hey everyone, welcome to the digital players meeting for the 2021 South 71 Sling. We're going to try and keep this as short and concise as possible, so I've got just a couple of photos here to help illustrate my talking points. I want to thank everyone for coming out and signing up for this tournament, the first ever edition of South 71 Sling. I have big high hopes for the event itself this weekend, and great plans for hopefully future versions of this event. Additionally, I want to go ahead and thank our big sponsors before we get into this. Remember that they're the ones that allow us to provide payouts that are, really quality sizes. They're ones that allow us to put up signage on the course, T-signs at Belton, all of that stuff that makes this tournament, a quality, a good event. So I'm going to start with Paradise Bar and Grill. They're located in Belton, so if you guys need to get a drink, maybe between rounds, definitely after rounds, I could not recommend stopping here enough. They are a cool little theme, a little tiki theme. Great drinks. The staff is very friendly. I promise you won't regret it if you go in there. I really enjoyed my time spent there. Additionally, if you're a little bit north of the river, Big Rip Brewing, they're literally just north of the river in North KC. They also have a really excellent space, some really excellent brews that they've got going there. One of their folks up there actually plays disc golf in the Cass County area, and so he's how we got hooked up with them. He's a really great guy, Sean. If you know him, you know what I mean. So if you ever find yourself in that area of town or happen to live up there, definitely make sure you pay these guys a visit. Completely worth it. And then finally, Steph Rupp. Steph Rupp is an independent business owner who's out there to provide help and solutions for any of your digital needs. If you have a business that's trying to get digitally out there, that's trying to get a website, that's trying to get their social media footprint, graphic design, photography, anything like that, Steph's exactly who you want to be going to. I've known Steph for years and years, and she's a great person, easy to work with, a lot of fun, and she will also be playing this week. So you may see her out there on the course this Sunday. So if you ever have any need for any of those kind of services, make sure you reach out to her. We've got links for all three of those businesses in the email under this video, and so make sure that 100%, if you ever get the opportunity, please hit up any of these entities. We're going to get into some of our information real quick here. The format for our course or for our tournament is going to be a 2-round shotgun start, and remember, it is on Sunday. The first round is going to start at 9 a.m. Registration is going to open probably about 7:50, probably just before 8, and it's going to run till about 8:50. We will have registration or check-in rather. Check-in will be open, probably all the way up until the tee time, and just a little bit later for any late arrivals. Remember that you want to be on time for the sake of your score. The course and the hole that you start on is now live on the PDGA event page. There's always a chance that changes, however slim that may be, so please make sure the morning of you double check what hole you're starting on. Barring some catastrophic events, nobody's going to switch any courses or anything like that, but you do want to make sure you are going to the right place. Our second round will take place right about an hour after the first round finishes up, where you will be switching courses. So if you start in Raymore, you'll be moving to Belton and vice versa. They're only about 5-10 minutes tops apart, so it's not a difficult drive. And conveniently, you go past a lot of food options along the way, so just the perfect timing to get a bite to eat. And we anticipate that second round probably starting maybe around 1, give or take. So remember, for scoring, PDGA is going to obviously be the official scorekeeper. The web app that they have, the code for that is South71, no spaces, no capitals. That's going to be in the email, and we'll have that available obviously at check-in and in a second, just a short, concise reminder email that we send out on Saturday. All of the OB and layout info is on each hole, on each page of the PDGA app. Every time you press a new hole, you'll be able to see all of that information right there. Something that I found out recently that a lot of people don't know: if you tap on like the OB description or hole description on the PDGA app, it will expand the entire description if it couldn't all fit in the little window they give it. A lot of people don't know that. So keep that in mind just in case. There's a couple holes out there that have longer descriptions, and you want to make sure that you're well informed. Remember that if anybody on your card is missing, they don't show up for the first round, or if they're late, you give them a 4 over par for every hole that they miss. So that's a quadruple bogey for every hole that they miss, and just move on. This weekend, we're looking at a little bit of weather potentially. Hopefully just a little bit of sprinkling at worst. We will not stop for rain. We will play through that. We will stop for lightning. So if there is lightning, we will be putting on, I believe it's a 30-minute hold in accordance with PDGA guidelines. We will blast an air horn for that specifically, just a 3 triple blast on an air horn or a bullhorn or anything like that. And that means that you should stop playing immediately. We recommend that you come back to Tourney Central or proceed to your cars potentially, or a safe place. But you definitely cannot continue playing any official tournament play. Additionally, because of the weather this week and how wet it's been, the grass may not be mowed very recently, just a little bit shaggy possibly, just as a heads up for people. And that's just because they can't mow if it's very, very wet. So don't get annoyed or upset if that's the case. Sometimes that's just the way it works out. Finally, the courses will probably be wet, so especially those wooded holes. They might be a little bit soggy, a little bit muddy, so we ask that you stay respectful of the course and you damage it as little as possible, while still, of course, playing to the best of your ability. We don't want anybody to, not throw the shot they want to throw because they're worried about damaging the course. But we don't want anybody, digging any holes out there when they don't need to. So just something to keep on the back of your mind. One quick note, we may be filming a little bit of video out there on Sunday. If you have any problems with getting filmed, just, your shots getting filmed for, potentially a highlight reel or anything like that, please let me know. I can't imagine that anybody has any issues at all with that. We're not trying to do any interviews or close-ups or anything like that. We just want to see if we can get some cool shots on film. So don't be surprised if you see people out there with, cameras or just phones out there recording. All right, we're going to move into the layout for each of these courses. I just have an overview of Recreation Park here in Raymore. You can see hole 1 down here in the bottom left. There is some parking right there. It's not very much. You're also going to be able to see parking up here, up by the tennis courts. You're going to have parking here, right by Tourney Central, by hole 10's tee pad. And there's a very, very tiny parking lot by 13's tee pad. I really don't recommend anybody parking there unless you're literally teeing off on 13. That's really the only reason you should be parking out there. It's not a worthwhile walk to just about anywhere else, and it will fill up very fast. Tournament Central for round 1, if you're playing at Raymore, you will need to come and check in. You don't need to park there, you just need to show up, check in, and then if you want, you can drive your car to another lot that's closer to your starting hole. I don't have any problem with that. I just need people to come up there. We'll be probably right by the parking lot, right by a practice basket there. You'll be able to see me under the shade tent. So just come in, check in. If you're an amateur, get your disc, get any flyers or anything else that we might have to hand out. We're going to go through, bathrooms. The center of the baseball complex right here, that's going to be your first set of bathrooms. And then up by 13's tee pad, there are other bathrooms. These are permanent bathrooms. They are not porta potties, so hopefully they will be in good shape. There is a baseball tournament, I'm told, going on during that weekend at Recreation Park. So you'll see some people hanging out. You'll see kids playing at the ball fields, and you'll see a lot of people there, but those bathrooms will definitely be open. So make use of those if you have any need, obviously. I'm going to go through and just mention a couple of the key points for some of these holes. Hole 4, we are still planning on having hay bales out in front of that hole, so there's a chance that that doesn't happen, so don't be surprised if you get out there and they're not there. And just as a quick reminder, there is right here the activity center. This map is a little old, so there's a building here right now. That doesn't change anything about how it's played, anything like that. It's literally just going to maintain. It just makes hole 5 a little trickier, honestly. Holes 8, so holes 3 and 8 actually, both play over the water and will both have drop zones as a result. All drop zones are going to be marked with pink flags and a line of paint on the ground. It should be very easy to spot. So if you go out of bounds, please proceed to one of those drop zones. On the back 9, there's nothing crazy out there. There's a potential spot of barbed wire that we found that is way in the back, I believe, of hole 13, so you'd have to have a really crazy unlucky throw to get into that. That is casual relief, so if you do happen to land in that, you can take that straight back from the basket with no penalty at all. But you would have to, frankly, go really deep, if I remember correctly, to even flirt with that at all. And if you find yourself playing, if something like that comes up, if there's another spot of barbed wire, and specifically barbed wire that anybody else finds on the course, to my knowledge there is none, but if you do, on the outside chance, that is also going to play as casual relief. So please take your disc, move your lie straight back from that basket until you find a place that you can play safely. All right, moving on from, additionally, real quick, hole 9, there will be a Mando on a light pole at Recreation Park. You will need to throw right of that Mando. That's because there is that baseball tournament that I mentioned, and so I know that only a very small percentage of people will think about throwing over those fields, particularly because they are out of bounds. And I know that only a very, very small percentage of the people that throw over them will mess it up, but we really want to remove the possibility of any of us plunking a baseball player completely. That would be a really, really good way to make sure we never have an event here again. So keep that in mind. Watch for that Mando sign. There will be a drop zone for that as well if you happen to miss it. Moving on to Cleveland Lake and Belton. This map is not specifically correct for the current layouts. You can see, for example, like hole 1, we know is much longer and pushed back into those trees. This map was created before that. So don't take this as gospel. This is just mostly for reference. Parking will be located up here beside the elementary school. It's just north. That lot is big enough for everybody to park there. This lot that's for the main course, much too small for everyone, and we do want the local residents to still be able to visit the park and walk around and enjoy the rest of the park that is not specifically the disc golf course, since all we have obviously reserved is the course itself. So don't be surprised if you see people fishing or walking along the path, and please be respectful of them and their time. Tournament Central, however, will be right in that parking lot or beside that parking lot right there, and we will have bathrooms right there. Those are the only bathrooms on the course, but since you walk past them multiple times over the course of the round, it's ironically fairly spread out. So those are going to be, everything's very centrally located for Belton. Once again, you will need to check in at that Tournament Central. You will see my co-tournament director Clayton. He'll be out there under shade tent as well. The timing is all the same, obviously. Start at your hole at 9 a.m. So you want to be checked in, I would say, at least 15 minutes before that. Okay. So I want to remind everybody that there is a lot of casual relief out there. A lot of the creek, especially Belton, will play as casual relief. It will be specifically mentioned on your PDGA app. So remember that for casual relief, if you happen to land somewhere that is specified as that, you can take your lie straight back in line with the basket until you reach somewhere that it is safe to play. Or is just legitimately playable. There is no cap on how far back you can take it, but if it is not specified as casual relief in the app, then it is not casual relief. The only exception might be the barbed wire if you happen to find some. But remember, water is casual relief, is always treated as casual unless specified. So the pond here, or the lake, will be out of bounds. Any other water, like the creek that you may fall into, or this drainage stitch down here, which is specified as out of bounds, that will all be casual if it's not mentioned as out of bounds. So remember what those casual relief rules are. There's a lot of confusion about those frequently in some of the amateur divisions, so I want to make sure everyone's up to date. Finally, for maps and navigation, we recommend that everybody have UDisc if possible. At least one person on your card should have it. We recommend UDisc both as your backup scorecard option and as your best way to navigate the course if you are unfamiliar with it. It has the South 71 layout for both courses up to date with the maps, so it's 100% going to be accurate and a great way to make sure you know where you're going. It's also a great way to make sure that you can keep a backup scorecard that's accurate to par as well. I really recommend people do that. We can have paper scorecards available for people if they need them, but with the wet weather possibility and just the inconvenience of keeping those paper scorecards, we cannot stress enough that digital backup scorecard is going to be your best bet, 100%. All right. So we're going to move into payouts here. Payouts for pros, that's going to be via PayPal by default. If you prefer a check, let me know in advance, preferably by maybe noon on Friday, so I can make sure I have that available for everybody. Otherwise, PayPal is going to be the default. If that ends up being a problem for you at a later time, if you realize that that's not going to work and it's a little too late, you just let me know, and if you do win, if you do cash out at all, then we can figure out an alternative option for you. I'm happy to work with anybody. I'm just letting you know what the default options are right now. Just plan for PayPal. For amateurs, if you happen to win payout credit, you will be able to redeem that at Truly Unique Disc Golf in Belton, Missouri. Whether you win credit or not, we really recommend everybody stop by there. It is a great store, great place. We're very happy that they're working with us for this event. Can't wait to see just the crazy amount of people that we hopefully can bring in for them. There will be trophies for every single division for first place only. So if you win your event, you can come over to the Tournament Central at your second round course afterwards and pick up that trophy right there. And for CTP prizes and things like that, those will also be at Tournament Central for their respective courses. We should have those available just as soon as the last card finishes and we know who won what. Additionally, we'll be drawing for Hawaiian Bros gift cards that they've generously provided. We'll be drawing those probably Friday or Saturday, and we'll let everybody know by email Friday or Saturday if they won. And if you do happen to win one of those, we'll have those ready for you when you check in. We'll just give that to you with any other player pack or pamphlet or anything that you receive. I think that's just about everything for everyone. Please remember once again to check out our sponsors. Any of the sponsors, the big ones that I mentioned in the beginning, any of the sponsors that you see out there on each individual hole or providing a CTP, they're all spectacular, and for all of them I cannot recommend enough showing them a little bit of love. Thanks again to everybody. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, shoot me an email, drop me a comment on the disc golf scene page, anything at all. Just feel free to reach out. If it's important, I will get you your answer and send it out to the rest of the field as well. We will be sending out, once again, a final email on Saturday with just a couple of key things like the PDGA code, some important locations, any changes that might happen. But otherwise, we are all set for this weekend, so I can't wait to see everybody out there on Sunday. We're going to have a really awesome time. If you happen to be out there playing on Saturday, you might see Clayton and I walking around the courses, getting things painted and set up, so feel free to say hey, hello. We love to, I've talked to so many people already for the last couple of weeks at each course that have been out there practicing for this event, and it's so cool to see everyone out there. So, we love talking to you. We love hearing from you. If you have anything at all, please hit us up. We are more than happy to respond to any questions that you might have. So we'll see all of you out there on Sunday. Thanks.